You're sitting right next to me.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Perfect.
It's gonna be lunch.
Oh, good. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Adelanto. Good evening. It's now 5:30. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the regular board meeting for Adelanto Elementary School District. Today is Tuesday, February the 27th, 2024. We're calling this meeting to order at 5:31. Roll call, Ms. LeVey, will you please take the roll?
Trustee Benz,
Present.
trustee Turner,
Turner present.
trustee Soto,
Soto present.
trustee Webster,
Webster present.
trustee La French.
Love French present. Quorum has been established. Section 1.04. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I know. Section number 2, adoption of the agenda. Ms. LeVey, do we have any proposed additions, deletions, and adjustment in the order of business?
Madam President, I do. Item 4.04, presentation from Melva Davis, update on ACRC. That item will be pulled tonight. We will be tabling to the March 5th regular board meeting.
Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Trustees, I need a motion to adopt.
Webster, I motion to adopt with the exclusion of 4.04.
Benz, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee, go ahead.
So do I.
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. Moving right along to cabinet reports, Mr. Kraus.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Good evening, everyone in the audience with us and everyone online. We have a full house tonight. That's great. We're excited this evening again, once again, to have a full cabinet this evening. So we're excited they'll be giving their reports here in a minute. But I just wanted to say how great it was to see all of our participants in Read Across America Week. I want to thank our IT department for uploading those videos to our website so that everybody could see staff and various other people reading books to our students. And I know that there was also an opportunity to read in person in the classrooms. And so we were excited that several of us had that opportunity to do that this week. It's very important that students read books, whether it's something that they like or something they don't like, because it will always improve their reading no matter where they're at. So we always encourage reading for everyone. Reporting on our numbers, our attendance today was at 92%. So we are moving towards that 94 to 96% goal. Our enrollment was at 7,644. If you go to our website, there's a link on there. Enrollment is now open for the 24-25 school year. So we encourage people to go there. We also have our enrollment center during normal business hours where you can also come in and talk to our enrollment team. Thank you, Dr. Dwight, on her leadership for our enrollment team over there in the enrollment center. Our teacher vacancies are currently at 11 out of 387. And so Dr. Albert, who's now on board, is actively working to continue to fill those vacancies. So wanted to mention that. I wanted to also, and you'll hear more about this in a minute, Victoria McGaffin Elementary is going to have a celebration of life on Wednesday, March 21st at 4 p.m. And so there'll be an invite sent out to the board as well. But we're glad that we have Miss Kim Smith here this evening to talk a little bit more about that celebration of life for Miss McGaffin who passed away. So I just wanted to mention that. Also this evening, farther down on the agenda, we do have an item about the Aquatic Center. And I wanted to thank the team that was on the committee to present some potential names. Again, it's up to the board when we get to item to decide what the final name will be this evening. But I wanted to thank Ms. Melba Davis. She was part of the team on the committee. Ms. Amanda Updegrove from the Adelanto City Council, Mr. Angelo Meza from the Adelanto City Council, Mr. Richard Crenshaw, our M&O. We have Ms. Lori McMillan in purchasing and Ms. Veronica Montiel in business services. So they made up the committee to help decide some recommendations this evening. But again, when we get to that item, members of the board will have a discussion about what the final name perhaps will be. So we appreciate their work on that. Also wanted to mention that the Mojave Desert Air Quality Management District will be here Monday, April 15th at 10 a.m. We'll be doing a photo opportunity because the district received $840,000 in the targeted airshed grant for potential HVAC upgrades. And so anytime that we have an opportunity to partner with our organizations in the high desert to help make the air better, and that's one of the things that this grant will potentially do, is help make the air better in our schools. And so we appreciate their collaboration. Again, they'll be up here on Monday, April 15th at 10 a.m. So we're excited about that. And then just a quick update on the budget. So on next Tuesday, because of spring break, we have a board meeting this evening. And we also have one next Tuesday on March 5th. On March 5th, Miss Julie Gonzalez down there, we're glad she's on board, will be presenting the second interim report, that's our next updated official version of the budget to the community, to all of our stakeholders. But in the meantime, we've been monitoring since January when the governor came out with his proposed budget, what's been going on at the state level. And an interesting article came out today talking about the state budget is now predicted to be around $73 billion, which is up from the $68 billion that they had predicted a few weeks ago. So the Legislative Analyst Office is warning superintendents and school boards working on their next year's budget that more storm clouds are on the fiscal horizon, and that they said that the further erosion of state revenues will likely reduce state funding for TK-12 by an additional $7.7 billion, $5.2 billion in 23-24, the current year, and $2.7 billion in 25-26. That would be on top of the $13.7 billion that Governor Newsom is proposing to shave off the budget that he released a few months ago, or last month in January. So I just wanted to give you an update that as the tax revenues come in January, they were down about $6 billion in the state. For February, we're expecting another large decrease. And then as we look to March and April, when the tax revenues are due, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. So, but our team is monitoring the situation at the state level. And at second interim, we'll be presenting a updated version of the budget for this current year and then the 2 out years and where we think we're going. But it's very important that everybody is well educated on what's going on in the state of California, because educational funding comes from the state for the most part, federal government as well, but from the state. And so as the state goes, so do school district budgets go. And so, but again, we're monitoring it. I appreciate the support of our board and our team that we have here up on the dais now, because they will be working diligently with us to ensure that the district is fiscally solvent as we move forward. And with that, I'm going to move down to Dr. Dwizon to give us an update on academic services.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kraus. Good evening, President LaFrench, Board of Trustees, AESD staff, and community. I will share a few highlights on behalf of our academic services team. So Mr. Kraus already mentioned it, but this is Read Across America Week. I want to thank all who submitted videos of yourselves reading books. Parents and teachers can access a digital library of all the readings that they can click on and hear the stories firsthand. So we're going to send that out again via Parent Square, but it can also be found on the website. Parents, you can also use this at home for a bedtime story or something really neat for your kids. I want to thank Rebecca Bykowski for her organization, and a big shout out to Alex Galvan for his support in setting up the digital library for everyone to access. We do have activities and special events all week, and so we thank all for participating. Last week, we had all sites represented at the CAVE conference last week to hear ways in which to support our English learners. All of these strategies go back to the sites, and they'll be shared among staff at upcoming meetings. And then lastly, I'm very excited to announce that our district received a $300,000 grant over the next 2 years from Kaiser Permanente, which will be used to support mental health for our students and families. This grant will pay for a contracted partnership with Daybreak Health. The contract will include teletherapy, which is available for all of our students in the district. They'll provide one-to-one for students 10 years and older for virtual therapy for mild, moderate level needs for a total of 12 weeks if they need it. 10 years old and older, they will do for 18 to 24 weeks if it's mod or severe. And then they also have family teletherapy for up to 12 weeks for students between the ages of 5 and 11. So we're very excited about this. This will be in English and Spanish. We'll have more coming out about that. But I really would like to thank Rebecca Flory, our Coordinator of Student Services, for writing and securing this much needed grant for our students and families. So we will be bringing this to board for approval in March. With that, that concludes academic services. Thank you, Mr. Kraus.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank you and good evening, Board of Trustees and community members. It's a pleasure to serve the district again. I have just a couple of updates. On February 14th, I was able to attend the City of Adelanto's groundbreaking ceremony for the Koala Road project, as well as a City Council meeting to accept our second place award in the Christmas parade for one of our elementary schools. Also, I was able to attend the Freedom Riders event at Columbia Middle School, along with part of our custodial team. I would just want to say it was an absolutely wonderful event. It was well attended. Just the participation from the audience, from the parents, the students, even myself. It was a very moving event. I really enjoyed it. For our team, we also have a couple of individuals that are attending conference this week. We have our purchasing department that's attending the cash conference. Again, I want to thank Academic Services for Read Across America. I know a number of our support services were really excited to participate and push that out to the students. As always, we continue to monitor the budget situation and we prepare for second interim. As Mr. Kraus stated, currently the LAO is projecting a $73 billion deficit. Again, this is February. All of the tax revenues are actually not accounted for until April. So I want to say thank you to our HR department as we continue and our academic services to not only monitor our budget, but work diligently to utilize and research all of our restricted funds and everything to maximize our potential. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Albert.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, community, and all of our team members that are out in the audience and online. First off, we want to thank all of the sites that I've had the privilege of visiting. As of this week, I've visited every single one of our school sites and so impressed with our clean campuses, our warm and welcoming front staff, our amazing teachers, our principals and assistant principals, and most importantly, our incredible students. This last week, I had the privilege of attending Morgan Kincaid's Martin Luther King Assembly celebration. Wow. I tell you, when you get an opportunity to see our kids perform and see them and see the passion that they have, it is truly, truly amazing. And it was great also seeing Trustee Turner as president as well at that assembly. But again, like our students, wow, I just could not be more impressed. Also extended site visits at Theodore Vick Elementary School. Very impressed with the engagement taking place by our students in every single one of the classrooms we visited. Our HR team is currently very busy preparing for our staffing and enrollment projections. We're having a meeting coming up this week in partnership with our business services as well as our academic services division. And within that, we're very excited to then be able to start projecting our staffing needs for the 24-25 school year. One of the things I want to take an opportunity to reiterate is that we will not be facing layoffs for this next year. I know there's a lot of news out there right now for other districts that are going through layoffs. Our district is not one of those districts. Also, our team continues to recruit and hire, as Mr. Kraus had indicated. As of today, we're down to just 11 openings out of 387 positions. That's just 2.9% vacancy rate. And of those 11 vacancies, we continue to recruit actually 6 for special education teachers. So looking at just our general education, we have only a 1.2% vacancy rate in our general education environment for our students. Special education teacher shortages, of course, continue to be a need area across the state that all districts continue to struggle with. We actually had a meeting today with one of our university partners to discuss what we can do to deepen our special education teacher pipeline with our current and future paraeducators. We're looking forward to continuing our visits, our school sites, our amazing school site, seeing our students actively engaged. And I'm very much looking forward to the opportunity to get out this week and read some of our classes. So that concludes our report, and thank you.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. That concludes our cabinet's reports this evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Moving right along to section 4, staff reports and presentations, Mr. Kraus.
Yes, thank you. We're excited because we have several presentations this evening, but we're going to start off and ask Mr. Ramon Rizzo, the principal of Adelanto Elementary School, to come up to the podium and introduce the students and the staff and what's going to be a great presentation from Adelanto Elementary School. So welcome, Principal Rizzo.
Thank you. Thank you. Stand behind. All right, we're going to do a little bit of hands-on stuff, but first I'd like to just guys, I'd like to say good evening, Madam President, esteemed board, executive cabinet, and superintendent, Mr. Kraus. My name is Ramon Rizzo. I am the principal for Adelanto Elementary School. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share this presentation with you. I just want to introduce everybody. We have our librarian, Miss Angela. We have, yes. We have Haley from 4th grade. We have, I think you just put your hands up, kids. We have Robert, 5th grade. We have Derek here. He's 4th grade also, right? And we have Ohania. Put your hand up. She's 5th grade. And we have our amazing science teacher. Well, she's a 5th grade teacher, 4th and 5th grade teacher, but she loves science, and I'll talk about that in a second. We have Ms. Zillner. Put your hands together for Ms. Zillner. So the reason why I thought this would be a great presentation for you is because, you know, sometimes we just have teachers that they love teaching, but they have a really focused passion on a certain subject. When I was a teacher, in 5th grade, I loved literature, so that was my passion, to teach literature. I have a teacher that loves to teach all subjects, but especially science. And that's Ms. Zillner. So put your hands together again for Ms. Zillner. So we have, I just want a couple of highlights. We have our own science lab that she has organized. Am I cracking up here? I feel like it's cracking up. I have a science lab that she organized, and all grade levels are welcome to use it. We want to give a big thank you and shout out to our purchasing department. Last year, we got brand new furniture for our science lab. Okay, it's excellent with the tall tables and the stools, just kind of like at middle school or high school. So we're really excited about that. Ms. Zillner is going to assist with the slides. So I'm going to have her, I know she's doing a couple of things, but I'm going to have her go over a little bit over the new NGSS standards. So put your hands together once again, Ms. Zillner.
Good evening, everyone. As we know, the standards have changed for science, and I'm super grateful that we have the new NGSS standards. I felt like the old California science standards were like a laundry list. It was like, do the kids know this? Check. Do the kids know the parts of the human body? Check. And they didn't have to know all the parts. They only had to know certain things. Do they know about solids, liquids, and gases? Check. With NGSS, it ties everything together, and we have these overarching big ideas. And so it makes science a lot more cohesive throughout the grade levels, and it makes it a lot more interactive and a lot more fun for the students. And it ties a lot of math into it, and it ties a lot of language arts into it, and even some history. So we're combining all of the different curriculum areas into our science. So with NGSS, like I said, it's a broad overarching concepts. There's sorry, I lost my train of thought. The disciplinary core ideas, the cross-cutting concepts, and the science and engineering practices. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Not only that, but there's a lot of hands-on opportunity. So some of the highlights for science at AES. So we have all new NGSS aligned science curriculum, and I want to thank the board for that. So we have brand new science curriculum. It's beautiful. We have hands-on kits for each grade level. We have a dedicated science lab, room 807. We do all science in the library as well. So whenever we get a chance, we'll extend those science projects from the classroom or the lab to the library. We have our annual AES Science Fair Parent Night. Our primary grades typically kind of team up together, collaborate on specific projects, and we participate in the annual District Science Fair.
Okay, so as Mr. Rizzo had stated, I spent hundreds of hours putting our science lab together. I actually found some pallet racks in an old shed. So we moved those in to store all of our equipment. Everything's organized, everything's labeled, and students do have access to all of these materials in addition to just the kits that come with Savvy Science. So here's just a couple of pictures that I've taken from a couple different activities of my students. In these ones, they were looking at the different hardness of some of the rocks, and they were actually putting them in water and shaking them and then scraping different objects on them to see about the hardness of those rocks.
And so I just wanted to give a quick shout out to some of our winners. So at our science fair, first place for each grade level. In kindergarten, Miss Daisy won first place. In third grade, yeah, that's right. Third grade, Sophia L. Fourth grade, Michelle Quintero. I already know her name. Fifth grade, Olivia, Samaje, Deja, and Lila. And so some of these science fair projects represent a variety of science and engineering topics, research-based, experiment projects, and families were present to view all of the submissions. There's some pictures of that.
Yep, and there's just a couple of pictures of those projects. But tonight, we are going to be doing a couple of demonstrations. So we've been talking about water in our class and in our science lessons. We've been talking about the water cycle. We've been talking about the different states of water. So we are going to look at how water interacts with a couple of different items.
I believe that one does work.
Okay, so the students have already measured some cornstarch into their measuring cups. Guys, make sure they're level. So add some more cornstarch. And we're going to be looking at what the substance they create is. Is it a liquid, a solid, or a gas? Have the tray. Put the tray. Okay, pour it in.
And the water is black
Oy.
and white. Explodes.
Very hard, simple.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I did promise I was not gonna dirty the little table.
Simple, Derek. Where was it? Measuring cup. Oh. Nice, Derek.
Sorry, IT.
Oh, I've done this before. Nice. Hey, so hang on, don't add that. So water is in which state, you guys? Liquid. It is liquid, good. So we're
Not
gonna add
solid.
liquid to the cornstarch. Go ahead and pour it in with
Uh-oh.
your spoons. It's gonna turn into a solid.
I'm turning into
Mix it all up. Also in the middle. Keep it in the containers.
Trying to mix it slowly so it doesn't turn into mush.
It's hard, buddy. So what do we think is gonna happen? We add a liquid to a powder, what would we expect?
Solid.
It would become a solid and liquid at the same time.
We think it's a solid and a liquid at the same time.
Okay.
I'm gonna punch it.
I'm smart.
I'm not hurt my
I'm the
hand.
first one that did it, of course. I'm smart.
But my spoon doesn't go in.
Why? Too hard.
It turns into a solid when you try to make it hard, and it turns into a liquid when
Okay,
you start
so
making it.
what they
Okay.
made was the old fashioned slime, which is
Mhm.
blood. So it is both, in some instances, a liquid because it'll flow, and sometimes it will become a solid where I can't press my spoon in. If I go slow, it'll go down in, but if I just hit it, it bounces right on the top. So that is the first one. The second one is, which is the one you guys get to participate in.
Got a line, got a little bit.
Alright, leave your, look,
Did it hold?
okay, so the students are gonna make theirs as well.
You mix it?
Yeah.
So there are, just in case you haven't seen them, they're over here dancing. They're so excited to make this.
You mix it.
Okay, so once again, we have, what kind of water is it? What form of,
State?
what state of matter?
Liquid.
It's a liquid, and we're adding it to a powder, which is a
Solid.
solid. Okay, go ahead and add your liquid to your powder. What you've added is you've added water to a plastic polymer, which it reacts with the water differently than the cornstarch did. And you guys get to feel it and touch it. Go ahead. It expanded, it's super light and fluffy. It's a plastic polymer. Yeah, so it's a plastic.
I'm so fluffy. I'm a scientist.
You're a nerd. What happened?
Okay, we put it on here so we don't make a mess.
Wiggle, wiggle.
So, in science, well, in this particular instance, we call it snow. This is our snow. So, thank you for allowing us to share.
Thank you so much for participating as well.
Thank you.
So as we get cleaned up here, do you have any questions for myself or Ms. Zillner?
This is our snow for the high desert.
It's our snow. But no snow days though. No snow days. No snow days. Trustee Bentz literally had it all over her tray.
Oh, great. She's got it all.
That's exactly what the kids do. Yeah. How about another round of applause for our students as well?
Yeah,
Ms. Zillner,
yeah, I do.
Miss Angela, thank you so much.
I'm gonna throw it at somebody. Thank you.
Trustee Love French wants to keep hers. She's gonna keep hers. Ms. Webster as well.
Mhm. Some hours, at least for the day.
And then it starts to dry out. And then it
Mm.
says you can reuse it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, add more water.
Add more water.
Pictures.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of, stuff that we had all the kids touching it. So we actually did a little experiment to see which class had the dirtiest hands.
Yeah.
Ah.
To see which ones had the most dirt. Yeah. But yeah, it will, it's supposed to then dry back out, power it back down, and add water and start over.
Can we get a picture with our snow?
And our friends?
A picture.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna take a picture. Oh, okay. That's a good idea. Again, sorry, IT.
Oh my God. I'll get my bag. Shelly, did you order the polymer or did you get it from the dentist?
All right, that was wonderful presentation. Thank you to Principal Rizzo. Let's give another round of applause. Next, we have another exciting presentation. I'd like to call Principal Peterson up from Gus Franklin. And we're excited that she and her team will be presenting this evening. So welcome, Principal Peterson.
All right, good evening. I'm President Lev French, trustees, Superintendent Mr. Kraus, cabinet, and our AESD families, and to all of our students at Gus Franklin, who I see out here, ready to go? So this year, we have really been trying to celebrate our student successes. So I'm here to share a little bit of the highlights of what we have done so far. We do have lots of other things planned for the rest of the school year, but First off, we do our Falcon SOAR. We do safety first, outstanding conduct, accountability, and respect. That is our SOAR expectations, and we say it regularly, every day. Morning announcements in the classroom. So you walk on campus, ask them what it means, and they'll be able to tell you. All right, this year we also did for the first time, it's called One School, One Book, where we read The Year of Billy Miller. And that was a great opportunity for all of our kids to read the same book. So we also do Project Lead the Way. That is our science supplemental curriculum. And as you can see, I did put some pictures up here. We also have some examples up on the wall because we decorated the boardrooms this month. We also do our PBIS Student Spotlight, where every month we celebrate those students who exemplify that SOAR expectation. So the last hour, half hour on a Friday, they get a little treat. This is a picture of one of our ice cream socials where they all got to create their own ice cream for showing SOAR expectations. The next is our fall festival, which is also our fall carnival kind of like. So this was the second one that we did. And so these are just pictures of them all dressed up in their lovely costumes. And the parents that showed up that evening for our carnival activities. So there's that one. And then this year we did our first annual CAS award dinner. So we provided dinner for our students and families who met or exceeded on the state test. So all of our students in ELA and math who were at standards or above, we got to give a spaghetti dinner. And they got a little, not little, they did get an award. So their name was called up. They got their award for each one, if it was ELA or for math or both. So we're going to do it again next year. And hopefully we'll have even more students than we did this year. So that's our goal. Okay, next we had, of course, our science night. We did have two winners. We had Amber Moreno, who was one of our district winners. And then we also had Jacob Sanchez, who is also another district winner. Okay, and that's just some more pictures of our science fair night and the activities that were in the classrooms. We also had our winter performances. And this year we participated in the spelling bee for the very first time. And again, we did have a district winner, Ria Singh, and she will be moving forward, hopefully. So we're very proud of our students. We did have our three winners at our site. We had Ria Singh, Ezekiel Ichiri, and Isabella Espinoza. So they were first, second, and third. And our second place winner is a first grader. So we can't wait to see what will happen with Ezekiel. All right, we also just finished, because you know it's February, the month of love. We had our someone special dance. And so these are some pictures of the dance. And it took a little while for them to warm up, but we finally got them all on that dance floor. And there was some line dancing going on. We had a great DJ and of course some food and just some overall fun activities. So, all right, so moving forward. We have 3 presentations for you today. We'll try to make it as really quick, but I wanted to brag about our TK class and our kinder classes. And then I also wanted to present our AYA cheerleaders. So, because they've been working really hard. So first off, we're going to start with Mrs. Bork TK class. And that is not the right song. Forgive me. It's Mamma Mia. And so we'll call up Miss Bork's TK students if you are here. And parents, thank you so much for bringing your students here tonight. We greatly appreciate your support. Want help?
Ready? Good.
Hi, my name is Jody, and we are going to make a pizza to the song Mamma Mia. So you want to grab your sticks, hold them just like this, and we're going to count to 3 together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, sticks up. Together. Hey, Mamma Mia, I want to make a pizza. I want to make a pizza with you. Oh, hey, Mamma Mia, I lots of sauce and cheese. I want to make a pizza with you. All your sticks will roll the dough till it's nice and flat. Roll the dough just like that. Rolling, rolling round we go. Make a circle out of dough. Can you go like this? Hey, Mamma Mia, I want to make a pizza. I want to make a pizza with you. Stir the sauce, stirring, stirring in the pot. Stir the sauce until it's hot. Add salt and pepper, spices too. Stir together, me and you. Stir it up. Hey, Mamma Mia, I want to make a pizza. I want to make a pizza with you. Get the cheese. Mozzarella, Parmesan. Grate the cheese until it's gone. Sprinkle, sprinkle to and fro. Sprinkle the cheese on the sauce and the dough. Really fast. Hey, Mamma Mia, I want to make a pizza. I want to make a pizza with you. Chop it up the pepperoni. Pepperoni, veggies too. Whatever toppings work for you. Chop them up and slice and dice. I can't wait to have my pizza slice. Hey, Mamma Mia, I want to make a pizza. I want to make a pizza with you. Tap your sticks. I sit and wait for pizza to be on my plate. The oven can't cook fast enough. I try to wait, but it is tough. Hey, Mamma Mia, I like to eat my pizza. I like to eat my pizza with you. Oh, hey, Mamma Mia, I love the sauce and cheese. I love to share my pizza with you. Oh, how I love to share my pizza with you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sticks up. Mamma Mia.
Thank you, Mrs. Bork's class. Okay, we have one more teacher, Mrs. Green, and her snowman.
Yeah, now, right? She wants a pizza.
Mrs. Green. So we're bringing a little bit of our winter performances to you tonight.
He just needs a carrot, t-shirt. I got a hat for my I got some medicine. I got some medicine. I got some shoes. Are you listening? And the snow is glistening. A beautiful sight. We're happy to walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman. We can roll his tummy nice and round. And we'll have the carrot and the top hat. He will be the grandest in the town. Later on, we'll be tired. As we dream by the fire. We'll snuggle and say, we had a great day. Walking in a winter wonderland. Snuggle and say, walking in a winter
Thank you, Mrs. Green's class. Good job. Can we move the table?
We can move it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Can we
That way.
put it this way? Is that okay? I'm sorry, you guys, we're just gonna.
This is the last performance, I swear.
Kids. All right.
Thank you, parents. They got nothing. We're good. All right, last but not least, we are introducing to you guys first time our AYA cheerleaders. So I would like to welcome Ophelia and her AYA cheerleaders.
Ready? Pump it up. Pump it up. Put that puppy spirit up. Put that puppy spirit up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep that puppy spirit up. Keep that puppy spirit up. Pump it up. Pump it up. Put that puppy spirit up. Put that puppy spirit up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep that puppy spirit up. Keep that puppy spirit up.
T-O-N-S, Falcon is the best. Ready? D out. D out. Go, Falcon, go. D out. D out. Go, Falcon, go. D out. D out. Go, Falcon, go.
DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Now the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Now the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Now the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Now the DJ turn it, 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 off the PS and turn up the sound.
Before you leave, can we get a picture with Gus Franklin,
Yes.
please?
Before you guys go, we would like to get a picture.
Gus Franklin?
Miss Bork. Okay. So I just want to say thank you for letting us have the opportunity to kind of show the highlights of what's going on at Gus Franklin. So thank you very much. And parents, thank you for bringing them here tonight.
Can we get TK too?
Can we get our TKers and our kinders if they haven't left the building yet? Come on, snowman.
Get in the picture.
I didn't know you were standing on my face.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Gus Franklin, for that wonderful presentation and all the parents that came out to support their students as well. It's always a pleasure when we get to see students perform. Madam President, we now would like to welcome up for our next presentation, Mayor Gabriel Reyes, the Honorable Mayor of the City of Adelanto, and his team, and they're going to give us a presentation on the city of Adelanto.
Thank you. Welcome, Mayor.
Hello, everybody. How are you? You know, it's great to have a mayor pro tem who always keeps you in check, right? I was trying to leave my meetings early because I knew this guy was gonna be here looking spiffy. So I can always count on that, right? On a lot of things, so always be dressed up well. But great evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Superintendent Kraus, Board President LaFrench, honorable trustees and staff. It is an honor to be here before you this evening, just to be able to share some things that have been going on in the city of Adelanto. It is, in my opinion, extremely important and long overdue, right? I've had the honor to be mayor since 2018 and was reelected here back in 2022 to serve another 4 years as mayor. And just extremely grateful and humbled and honored to be able to be in this position. Before I talk about the highlights of what's been going on, and I had to take notes, right? Because I know I'm on a timeline. I know I can't ramble on forever, right? So like, you know what? Let me stick to some notes. So pardon me while I looked down at my phone. But like I mentioned, it was extremely overdue and much needed. And one of the things when I was elected mayor that we wanted to focus on was just rebuilding the relationship with the Adelanto Elementary School District, right? Many of us know why that happened. We don't have to focus too much on the past. But I do think it's important, and we do want to recognize that each and every single one of you that did make those tough decisions at that time, to share with you that we do understand why and why it is that you took a stance on the decisions that the city had to do for their general fund purposes, right? For the taxation purposes. One thing that I do want to make clear as we talk about these updates is that as we work on our relationship and we grow together in the city, I think it's extremely important for the whole city to grow together, is I want to stress that anything and everything that we would do in collaboration and in partnership with the school district, we will uphold and honor the values that you have. And what I mean by that is specifically when it comes to even our Christmas parades and our Christmas festivals, right? We want to make it very, very clear that we do not take any cannabis donations. We do not take any donations from cannabis companies when it comes to the partnership, when we have the collaborations with the Christmas parades, because of your stance that you guys chose to take back in 2016 when the city embraced the cannabis industry. Know that when you looked at all of the donations and the people who donated to the city that we announced at our last city council, none of them were cannabis industry related. So we want to let you know that we do understand and we value and appreciate everything that you do for our kids. It was beautiful seeing all the kids here today and all the great things that they have going on. So in short, I want to talk about some of the updates that we've been able to have as a city and some of the things that it is that we inherited. Back in 2018, we inherited a structural deficit of $6.5 million negative into our general fund for taxation purposes, right? That's why the city embraced the cannabis industry for those structural issues, right? The city does not have a debt issue. The city does not have any of those other issues. The city strictly has a point of sales tax issue, right? And one of the big reasons why we have a point of sales tax issue was because back in 1985, the mayor at the time and Caltrans created a ordinance that was to kill economic development off of Highway 395. They were planning on building a new highway called Highway 222, and they were planning on killing 395 when it comes to the flow of traffic. Well, that MOU and that project was put at a halt, a permanent halt, back in 1999, and Caltrans moved it from their books. Well, the city of Hesperia submitted a MOU to Caltrans. Victorville submitted an MOU to Caltrans, but nothing was honored for the city of Adelanto. So when you look at the economic development off of 395, south of Palmdale, we've had plenty of progress. Several gas stations, several houses, several economic development up until Palmdale. Why? Because Palmdale is the southern border of the city of Adelanto. So you see growth on the Victorville side, but you don't see any growth on the Adelanto side because of that MOU. There was a great meeting. It's something that we've been working on for several years. to remove that MOU from Caltrans, and we have made tremendous headway, but it is a process dealing with state entities, having an amazing assemblyman who's been vouching for us and working with us, relationships with our state treasurer and other entities. It just takes time, right? So we're on the verge of being able to get that removed. We have submitted several updates on, safety and traffic studies and everything else that Caltrans is requesting. And I feel that we have circled third base and on our way home to be able to increase economic development off of Highway 395. You notice the gas station here at the AMPM, they have an awkward entrance, which is on Air Expressway, because we control the local streets, right? So that is important to share on what it is that we've seen. Because of all this headway, though, that we have been able to make, we have close to 18 million square feet of industrial and warehousing plans in our plan check department as we speak. We have about 3 million that will be breaking ground by the end of this calendar year. When it comes to industrial jobs and warehousing jobs, for every million square feet, you can project about 800 to 1,000 jobs. So as of right now, we have about 24 to 3,000 jobs that should be working and bringing their way into the city of Adelanto over the next 3 to 5 years. The total 18 million is over the next 3 to 5. So that demand of industrial warehousing is great, because that means that we have to do what? Build homes, right? Because we need to build homes, we need to build quick service restaurants, we need to build things to keep our tax base here in the city of Adelanto. Right across the street from you, we have the Arco gas station. Right next to it, the 50 that is up is a car wash. And then their phase 3 is going to be retail and a Holiday Inn with a 3,000 square foot restaurant in front there. So we're excited for that developer and those projects that we have listed there. If you notice, we've only had a couple of motels, the one right here off of Bartlett, and they're on the corner. But as of right now, the city has 5 hotels in various phases of our permitting process, right? One I mentioned, the Holiday Inn, another one on Rancho Road, which is a Wyndham brand. Then we have another one off of Seneca, which is a Residency Inn and Best Western. And then the other 2, I don't know, right? But it's great to hear that our team is working on those tremendous things. The stadium continues to have tremendous growth and popularity in a lot of music and different type of events at our stadium, including festivals almost every single month this year. What else do we have here? We have diversified our jobs tremendously here in the city. We have now aerospace, medical, defense, automotive, as well as representative employers, slowly growing to compete with our major employer pool, which is Adelanto Elementary School District, public administration, and logistics. We have also grown about 10% of our local job base here since 2018, and we'll continue to maintain that pace. We have 8 existing retail projects that are along Highway 395 that are in our plan use department that'll be breaking ground this year and next. We've also broken ground on several projects. Thank you for mentioning the one that you attended a week ago. But one of the biggest projects that we're excited to announce that Board President LaFrench and Superintendent Krause were able to attend was our park off of Jonathan and Chamberlain. That is a $2.8 million park that we're able to bring. It will have a splash pad. It will have basketball courts. It will have workout equipment, restrooms, shaded areas, grass, right? A beautiful project. If you drive by there right now, they've already graded everything, right? It's moving and ready to go. As of right now, the projections is hopefully September, but ideally it's probably going to be, we'll probably have the grand opening here probably in October, and we'll make sure that we invite each and every single one of you. One of the things I'd love to do at this time is turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem, because we sit on various different boards. And one of the reasons why I'm so confident about our headway with the removing of the MOU when it comes to Highway 395 is specifically this meeting that we had last week. He is on the board for an association called SCAG, the Southern California Association of Governments. And for the first time ever, they visited the city of Adelanto in the high desert region, and they've been established since 1965, right? And they came up here to the city of Adelanto, they toured. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mayor Pro Tem Daniel Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Great evening. Mayor was talking about me looking spiffy, but look at you guys, man. You look great. Great evening, Madam President, Superintendent, doctors, assistants, trustees, everybody in attendance. Yes, just to reiterate a little bit of what Mayor said, we had an amazing breakthrough for the first time ever. We did have SCAG come out and tour our city. Just to give you a little bit of background on them, they've been in existence since about 1960, I believe it was, 65. So when for about 2 years now, I've been sitting on various boards there. And when I asked them, I said, hey, have you guys ever been to the city of Adelanto? They kind of gave me that deer in the headlight looks, right? And I said, okay, well, it's time. Like, you need to come up now. So it was an honor to have them, their executive director, here visiting our city. We toured them all over, all over town. We make sure we got them up and down every single road, into as many facilities as we could. I could sit here and bore you guys for about 2 hours about the amazing things that we talked about, but there's two major takeaways that I want you guys to know about SCAG. In that meeting, we found out that Director Comey was actually the director of Caltrans for 29 years. So he opened up a whole new can when it came to just processes that Caltrans and requirements that Caltrans and things that Caltrans have to do when it comes to making sure their roads are safe, right? And obviously, we all know 395 is a major road. Palmdale is another major road as well. So one of the biggest things that we're going to be, literally hounding Caltrans on is he made it clear to us that, obviously our roads suffer a lot of damage when we get rain because of the water and the mud and everything. It is mandatory that they come out immediately, like once that rain stops, for them to get our roads back to safe conditions, not only for, us, but for our kids going from home and to school, bus drivers as well. So he made it a point. He wants us to, moving forward, meet with him periodically so that he can make sure he sits us at the tables that we need to be sitting at, talk to the people we need to be talking to, so that when we do get those rains, or even if it's something else and our roads are in, bad conditions, we hold Caltrans accountable and they get out here immediately to start getting our roads in better shape. We also spoke a little bit about the MOU in regards to, killing economic development. Say bye-bye to that, right? You will see stuff starting to go up on 395 because of the support that we're getting from SCAG. So it was a great meeting. He committed to us that as long as we continue to, obviously, show our value as well and attend a lot of these boards, they will not forget about Adelanto, and we will make sure they do not forget about us. Lastly, for a lot of parents that are in attendance, or if you guys know anybody or would like to share this information with the high schools, SCAG does a wonderful job at offering scholarships for graduating seniors, not only for our city, but for Southern California cities that are partnered up with SCAG, and Adelanto being one, Victorville being another, Hesperia as well, our surrounding counties. They offer scholarships right now. The scholarship application is open through March 22nd, I believe. And if you go on SCAG, it's scag.ca.gov, and just navigate to the student, options there. You can just click on the scholarship information there, and it'll pull up all the requirements, the different scholarships they offer. I think there's about 2 or 3 different ones. The application process, what's required. But one thing that he did mention was that a lot of this scholarship money just rolls over because there's not a lot of kids in these cities that are applying for these scholarships, ladies and gentlemen, and that's a little disturbing, right? Our kids are not going to college, and it's not because they don't want to, and it's not because they're dumb. They're smart. They're really, really smart. We have some of the smartest kids in the high desert here in our backyard, and the problem is they just don't have the finances to go, right? They don't have these avenues. So SCAG is committed to continue to push out these scholarship opportunities, and they're encouraging all the cities to look into them so they can, really encourage these students to start applying. If you guys need any information on the scholarship, or if you guys would like to set up a meeting with SCAG, please, we would love to invite the board members to come on down and tour the SCAG office whenever you guys are free. Mayor and I are typically down there on the first Wednesday and first Thursday of every month. We love to have you guys come on out, join us, and kind of take a look at what SCAG offers. With that being said, that's the update on SCAG. Thank you guys for everything that you do from the dais and away from the dais, and I'll turn it back over to the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And just in closing, I have a few more updates. One is we are finalizing our beta phase for our city app. I think it's extremely important because knowing where to submit your concerns, to submit your issues is important to get in front of the right people. Yes, we live in a social media day and age, but a lot of us still have jobs and means of having to provide for a family. So we can't be on social media all day, right? And a lot of times people feel that that's the right place to go and share their concerns, right? Because at least they get a response. So our app should be being released next month, where you'll be able to report graffiti, potholes, lost dogs, anything and everything, missing signs. And what we've done with that is when you submit the issue anonymously, it just goes straight to the department, right? So if there's a stray dog, it will go to animal control. If it's potholes, it goes to public works, right? And various issues like that. You want to pay your water bill questions goes to the water department. So increasing our communication is something that we want to do, and our accessibility is something that we want to do because, where we serve the community, we serve the residents of Adelanto. We have over 700 homes that have been built over the last 5 years here in the city of Adelanto. All of them have been sold. We just broke ground on 70 more on the north side of Adelanto, over off of Raccoon, and I also believe off of Stevens. So more housing is something that we've embraced. The state of California has the arena numbers, and they've asked the city of Adelanto to build 5,300 homes, right? It's a huge number. It's a huge task, but we most definitely have the vacant land to be able to do so, right? So we want to most definitely comply with our arena numbers. There's a big program that we've applied, and we're actually training to be Victorville for the first time. I think it's a major accomplishment that we're beating our neighboring cities in this, but it's the pro-housing element, right? Authority that there's about 15 different funding pools. Well, we'll see after the deficit that the governor has, but there's about 15 different funding pools that are specifically allocated for housing, transitional housing, affordable housing, workforce housing, various different programs. And one of the things that I would love to do and kind of present just in talk, and of course we'll go through all the proper procedures with legal and X, Y, and Z, but I would love to see what we can do about partnering up on doing some workforce housing for teachers, right? Doing some workforce housing where they can move and live in the city and do things of that sort, right? So that we can, one, meet those numbers, but two, also increase the quality of life, because I know a lot of teachers commute, right? And be able to keep them local would be great for our tax-based purposes, right? And then in closing, something a little sensitive, and I will do the best I can to be fully compliant in the educational information that I'm about to share. There is an important measure that is out in the city that is viable for a lot of things that we're trying to get accomplished in our city. Like we know, Adelanto has been neglected for many, many years. We have a measure that is out that the city supports called Measure U. What this is, and I want to just be clear for educational purposes, it's a vacant land tax, not a property tax, not a housing tax, not a residential tax, a vacant land tax. 97% of the land in Adelanto is privately owned, and about 80% of that land is owned by people who do not live in the state of California. Most of it is overseas. So we have four major issues that we believe that we may identify in the city of Adelanto. Public safety, we don't have enough sheriffs or first responders. Capital improvements, roads are beat up. Even with all the work that we've done with Rancho, with Bartlett, with Koala, with Bellflower that we have later on this year, with Adelanto Road that we have later on this year, most of our roads haven't been worked on for 10, 20 plus years, right? Our infrastructure when it comes to water, establishing a Parks and Recs department so our kids can actually have parks and things to do here in our school. The AYA program has been phenomenal for a lot of kids, but we can't keep them all, right? Because there's only so much that can stay within the programs. And then the fourth one is addressing blight and illegal dumping. This tax goes specifically to address those issues. It is not something that we can borrow to Peter to pay Paul. It is something to actually address the four major issues that happen and that do reside in our community and in our city that our residents would love for us to address. So voting on that, I cannot tell you what to do, right? But all I can do is just share the education. There is an oversight committee that would be done by the residents. There is exemptions for low income. There's exemptions for seniors. It was well designed and well crafted by the council. There does need to be a majority support, just like the cannabis tax, right? So this has to be something that is embraced. That voting has to be done before March 5th, so a week from now. So we just ask that, do your research, visit the city website if there's any other questions or concerns in regards to what the city stance is on that measure. And we look forward to a prosperous and great relationship with the school board. I know that we did support last year the crosswalks, right, for the schools. Please reach out to us. Make sure that we maintain that responsibility. And please let us know what else it is that we could do to serve, to partner, to work, and to grow with each and every single one of you. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for making the tough decisions that you do make for the betterment of our kids. In closing, 5 out of the last 6 valedictorians that have graduated from Adelanto High School have come from George Magnet Performing Arts School. So you guys are doing a great job. 5 out of the last 6 from our high school, right? So that speaks to your leadership, to the education of the teachers, and everything that you guys do with these kids. And the last thing, the Adelanto Lady Saints basketball team won CIF. They are CIF champions. They won on Saturday. Not won, dominated on Saturday. I think they won by 30 points, right? But they have won, and they're advancing to the state CIF bracket. Just a lot of great things going on in Adelanto, right? So for everything that you do, we thank you. We're grateful, and we just look forward to another meeting here sometime soon. You guys take care. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
All right, Madam President, we now would like to turn it over to Dr. Dwyzon, who has the next 2 presentations. And I know that the first one is just a report, so it'll go fairly quickly, but then we're excited to also present the LCAP mid-year update. So Dr. Dwyzon, I'd like to turn it over to you and your team.
Thank you so much. So this is the second quarterly required report for Williams' case for the month of January. Again, it covers the areas of instructional materials, school facilities, school accountability report card, and teacher assignments. So I'm happy to report there were no findings in the above areas, and that concludes the Williams second quarterly report.
Great, thank you. And now we are excited to be able to hear a mid-year update on our LCAP plan. And so with that, Dr. Dwyzon is going to move out there and present a great update on our LCAP.
All right. Good evening, President Love French, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Kraus, Cabinet, and our AESD staff and families. This evening, we will present the newly required mid-year update on our Local Control and Accountability Plan, or the LCAP. Section 61 of Senate Bill 114 requires LEAs to present a report on the annual update to the current year LCAP and budget overview for parents on or before February 28th of each year at a regularly scheduled board meeting of the governing board or body of the LEA. At this meeting, the LEA must present all of the following: a report on the annual update to the current year LCAP and budget overview for parents that also includes all available mid-year outcome data related to metrics identified in the LCAP. Additionally, mid-year expenditure and implementation data on all actions identified in the LCAP. All information is presented up to this point in time. So remember, this is a mid-year update. At this point in the school year, some metric outcomes are unknown, some are in progress, and some are known. So we will share what those are. The metrics for each LCAP will be shared shortly. Similarly, at this point in the school year, some LCAP actions have not started, some are in progress, and some have been completed. An update of LCAP actions will be shared with expenditures through the first interim budget update. As a reminder, we have 3 overarching goals for our LCAP, which were prioritized by all of our stakeholders. The first one was to increase student achievement. The second one was for social, emotional, and mental health supports. And the third one is for parent, family, and community engagement. I would also like to reference your sheet in front of you, which kind of gives you an overview of all of the goals. It's this sheet right here, long legal size. And that's for easy reference. So the remainder of the slides will go a little more detail on this particular reference sheet, but we put it all in 2 pages for you. At this time, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Dr. Diana Ochoa, our Director of State and Federal Programs, to share where we are in our LCAP action goals.
Thank you, Dr. Wison. As we look at Goal 1 includes academic actions to support increasing student academic achievement. This includes 9 actions outlining class reduction, supplemental technology, engaging electives, professional development, assistant administrators, library and media access, school innovation, English learner student achievement, and early childhood. The following slide, LCAP Goal 1 with metrics. CASP assessments are taken every spring to provide a cumulative result of student learning. The following scores represent the 2023 school year. Our English learner student group increased from 3% to 5%, meeting or exceeding the standards in both English language arts and mathematics. As we reflect on our results, we have changed from the STAR assessment and have transitioned to the iReady platform for current and reliable data that can inform the instructional practices within the classroom. iReady is an ongoing monitoring system that will assist in projecting future outcomes while monitoring the students throughout the year. The following LCAP Goal 1 metrics. Celebrations are in order as we recognize the hard work of our students with disability as they have increased their performance level represented in the California dashboard from red to orange in both ELA and math. The following slide indicates AESD has accomplished a 100% implementation of Common Core state standards for all students within the district, as well as providing 100% ELD standards to our English learners. Next slide. As we continue celebrations of our English learners, we are able to take a look at the ALPAC results. English learners include scoring an 4 on the ALPAC, have increased from a single digit of 4% to 26.5% and rising. Let me say that again, 26.5% and rising. That is an increase of 22.5%, scoring a 4 on the ALPAC. Our reclassification rates have increased each year. Currently, we have 4.9% of our ELs reclassified and at least 2 more attempts to reclassify additional candidates this school year. Recognition for our human resource department reflects 0 findings of teachers' misassignments. Every teacher has been assigned adequately and continue to provide accelerating learning throughout our school district. In addition, AESD students have access to board-adopted standards aligned to instructional materials that foster a collective effort of learning. Next slide. Due to an accounting system and technical error on the California dashboard, AESD reflects a standard not met. However, AESD did provide 100% access to broad courses of study with services provided to our unduplicated and exceptional needs students. If we take a look at the next slide, we can see a total budget for Goal 1 is as followed: $200 million. Estimated actuals were approximately $13,962,366. LCAP 2 or Goal 2 LCAP actions. Goal 2 includes social emotional learning actions to support increasing students' academic achievement. These include 8 actions: foster youth services, music and art, counselors, attendance and engagement, physical wellness, social emotional learning, transportation services, and social workers. Next slide. This is a huge celebration for us. The average daily attendance has overall increased to 91.4% from 88.4%. We also show increases in attendance for K through 5, K through 8, and middle schools. We see a decline of chronic absenteeism to 28.6% from 28.8%. We also show decreases in chronic absenteeism in K through 5, K through 8, and middle schools. A huge decrease of 14.6% in chronic absenteeism for the middle schools is to be recognized. Suspension rates, however, were increased 1.9%, while our expulsion rate increased 0.5%. Next slide. School connectedness has increased to 80%, 90%, and overall 75.1%. Our middle school dropout rate includes less than 1%. Due to technical error on the California dashboard, AESD reflects the standard not met. However, AESD did provide good facilities standards throughout the district. Subsequent slide. Due to technical error on the California dashboard, AESD reflects the standard not met. However, we did increase survey results in safe schools that favors responses of positive belief in how children feel they matter to their teachers. Goal 2, a total budget for Goal 2 is as follows: $16 million. Estimated actuals include $7,459,785. Goal 3, LCAP actions. We understand the importance of building collaboration and working together with our community and families. Goal 3 includes family engagement, communication, and bilingual support. As we partner with our community of families, we celebrate an increase of parent attendance at district parent group meetings by 2%. Next slide. A total budgeted for Goal 3 is as followed: $2,546,984. Estimated actuals are $663,126. Dr. Dwyson?
So the continuing impacts of COVID pandemic, including the challenges of hiring staff, chronic absenteeism, and addressing learning acceleration needs due to the impacts of learning, has presented many challenges the first half of the school year. Despite these challenges, we are committed to implementing the LCAP to provide the necessary services to our students. We have and continue to put strong structures, supports, and professional development, just to name a few, in place to support all areas. We acknowledge and sincerely thank the hard work and dedication of our employees, our teachers, the support of our parents, and the resilience of our students to continue to reach for excellence. We would also like to thank the board for your support of these very important goals and initiatives for our district that we continuously strive to accomplish for the students and community we serve. We are aligned in focus areas as a district and focused intently on the road ahead. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Board, do you have any comments, questions? Board, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. I have a question on the LPAC. A score of 4, is that a good score?
It's the top score.
It's the top score. Okay, and I do have, which is great. And I do have another question. When you said that it was a technical error on the state, could you explain that?
I sure can. So on the dashboard, if you look, the dashboard is on the state website and it has all the colors. You see the colors. So we have what are called local priorities. We present those every year, and we tell you that because we are passing those. They changed the system in which you input. And so we had an error where it didn't take. And so because of that, they said we weren't meeting, even though we were.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Please.
So basically, what you're saying on all of these where it says standards not met, it's an error.
It is.
Okay.
And we presented those at the board meeting. I believe it was June something, and there's a presentation. It's on file, showing its public record that we did meet those areas. But according to the state, we didn't put it, there was an error glitch.
And the 22, did you say 22.5% increase on the English language learners? That is incredible. That's great news. On the suspension rate, however, on African-American students versus all students, I see that there's been a tremendous increase. How are we addressing that?
We continue to address that. So this year we have actually a tiered response for PBIS. Some of our schools belong to like where they're basic PBIS, just getting started. We have others that belong to an ISP project, which is a little more in depth. And we have some that belong to, it's a different, I can't off the top of my head think of what that cohort is. But what we've done is have an established differentiated response for each school site where the teachers, the administrators are involved, because we want to make sure that we are meeting the needs of all of our students. So that's the first layer. Additionally, we continue to provide professional development in the form of support. Our PD days, we have support for how to address the needs of our students, and we continue to look for ways to meet the needs of our students. So those are just a few.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. Excellent report. Very good.
Trustee Soto.
Thank you, Madam President. We had good questions. I just wanted to follow up. Is there any consequences with the state not having that filed correctly?
Good question. So if you get 2 years in a row, that's when they start coming down on you. The first year, a lot of times they figure it's something happened. And it's very unusual. It was just, if I would have caught it in time, I'll take responsibility. But 2 years in a row is where there's a consequence for that.
Thank you. Excellent presentation.
Thank you. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving along to section 5, closed session declaration. We'll be taking items 5.02 through 5.04 in the closed session. Public comment period for closed session items. The public comment period is administered by state law and is the point in the meeting set aside for members of the public to share their opinions with the board. Open meeting laws do not permit the board to engage in dialogue or answer questions. Any person who wishes to address the governing board on closed session agenda items only must complete and submit an AESD speaker request form 5 minutes before the meeting is called to order. Public comments will only be taken on agenda items during the discussion of those items. The board values public comment, and although the Board of Trustees cannot take action or discuss items not on the agenda, the Board of Trustees listen carefully and appreciate input from the public. Additionally, A public speaker can be cut off for exceeding the allotted time or for willfully causing an actual disruption to the meeting. Before cutting a person off or removing someone, the board will give at least one clear warning. If you were cut off or warned last time, please consider that your warning. Individual speakers are allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each closed session agenda item. The board limits the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentations depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Mr. Kraus, do we have anyone representing ADTA?
Yes, Madam President, we'd like to call Mr. Brian Hahn to the podium this evening.
Good evening, Madam President Love French, Trustee Webster, Trustee Turner, Trustee Benz, Trustee Soto, Superintendent Kraus, Dr. Doizan, Dr. Elbert, Ms. Gonzalez, my esteemed colleagues here in sitting out here, and our community members. My name is Brian Hahn. I'm serving proudly as the Vice President of the Adelanto Teachers Association. And wow, we have a lot to celebrate tonight. We absolutely do. And all of this celebration, of course, would not be possible without teachers who are all here as well. The performers, the children, they did a fabulous job. And once again, that could not have happened without our teachers. This evening, you're going to hear some of our teachers tell you about why they teach and serve the Adelanto School District community and what keeps them here, why they stay. I'll begin with my story. This is my 27th year in the Adelanto School District. I've loved every single year that I've been here. In 1997, several school districts from around California were on a road trip, and they were going from university to university to teaching schools throughout the country. I know they recruited teachers from Ohio, from New York, from Massachusetts, from Wisconsin. I'm probably missing a couple of other states, but the bottom line is this. They were bringing teachers with different and varied backgrounds from around the country to open the first middle school of the Adelanto School District, Shepherd Middle School. And the principal of that school, the person who, along with the superintendent who hired me, was Melva Davis. And let me tell you, Melva, words are hard to express how wonderful she was, the type of culture she established at that school to encourage about 50 teachers who came from all different states to work together and become a family. And that was the first beginning of being away from New York and being with people from all around the country, working for the common good of educating our students and giving them the best education we possibly could. And it was fabulous. It was a fabulous journey. And we still have other colleagues that came to California that you're with me as well. Not all 50. All 50 did not stay, unfortunately, but those of us that did have embraced Adelanto. And my reasons are the relationships. Year after year, the relationships that I have made with everyone in the Adelanto community just cement my reasons for being here. The fact that we have children that we are serving, children that, you know, just deserve the very best. At a recent conference I attended, the California Purchasers Healthcare Coalition conference in down in Anaheim, I found one of my former students who is now a medical doctor at Kaiser here in Victorville. So Dr. Jose Magana. So, and I know that some of the other students are doctors as well. And we have a lot of students, and you heard, we have a lot of students that are coming from Adelanto that are going places. They're moving into jobs as doctors and lawyers and, you know, big jobs. And we have a lot to be proud of. And we have to thank our teachers. Our teachers are the ones who really put forth the heart and effort to ensure these kids get the best education possible. So that tells you a little bit about my journey, and it continues. I love Adelanto. I love the school district. I love the people. And for the most part, we do have challenges at times, but it's been a great place to live, to teach, to grow, both as a professional and as a family. I do want to bring to your attention that that a revolution is brewing among our members. The level of collective courage among the Adelanto District Teachers Association is growing. It's a sign of success and the fact that we are on track to meet our mission. Board members, I have to tell you that 0% COLA is insulting and unacceptable. One of our teachers' concerns has been behavior of some of our students. As of late, we have had some increased negative behavior on both middle school and elementary campuses that has just risen to the level that PBIS, which we are embracing throughout the district, is not working. The one size shoe fits all discipline is not working. And some behaviors have been so egregious that some of our top-notch students, their parents are pulling them and putting them in other schools, in other districts. And we need to stop that. We need that to stop. One of the suggestions might be to open a behavior school, maybe in Area 2, where we seem to have a high level of students who are just, for lack of a better word, I mean, they're just out of control. And some teachers are fearing for their lives. Some teachers are very frustrated about the lack of discipline, and parents are frustrated by the lack of discipline that some of these children are receiving. I hope that we might be able to address that challenge as we move forward. in the last few days, just this past week, Dr. Albert, I just want to say that we were disappointed in the timeline for our non-reelects. In looking back, our past practice has been 10 to 14 days to notify our non-reelects of the opportunity to either resign or be non-reelected. And they literally had just 3 working days to do that. And it put a lot of stress on both our association, Ms. Rader and myself, with trying to field calls and take care of these individuals and try to guide them. And Ms. Smith, I know, was also here to provide some support for our non-reelects as well. At the budget stabilization meeting yesterday, Dr. Albert, you stated, when there's money, we share the wealth. Throughout the last 27 years that I've served the school community of Adelanto, COLA salary increases have never been just given out without negotiating, organizing, fighting, and going or almost going to impasse. Never. However, Dr. Albert, if you are going to usher in a new day of sharing the wealth, we absolutely welcome that new chapter. It would be so refreshing. Thank you.
Mr. Kraus, we have a representative for CSEA.
Yes, Madam President, we do. We'd like to call Miss Diane Lynn to the podium this evening.
Good evening, Madam President LaFrench, trustees, Superintendent Kraus, our full cabinet, all of our certificated staff, classified staff, and everyone else attending in person and also on Zoom. I'd like to introduce to you our new CSCA representative here, Jason Turkhurst. I'm going to allow him to speak if you don't mind.
So good evening, President Love French, board members, Superintendent Kraus, cabinet members, staff, and community members. My name is Jason Turkhurst, and I am a CSEA, the Classified Employees Union representative assigned to work with our Adelanto Chapter 451. I am newly assigned here, but I have worked for CSEA for a long time and have worked with Adelanto previously. I'm here tonight to let you know about some concerns that CSEA and the classified employees we represent are having. However, I do not want everything I say tonight to sound negative, so I'd like to start off by saying thank you to the board and Superintendent Kraus for reaching a settlement earlier this month on our holiday issue. So thank you. I was very pleased to see that issue resolved, and I am hopeful that we are able to continue on that path and resolve other issues as well. Although the reason I'm here tonight is because of the lack of following the contract and lack of communication from the district that unfortunately is still continuing. CSEA has another issue that is supposed to be brought before the board per the grievance procedures in the contract that were agreed to by the district and CSEA, and for some reason, it has not been placed on the agenda. And the district will not respond to CSEA about when it will be placed on the agenda. The grievance is a simple one. The district had an employee who retired, and when that employee retired, the district did not fill the position. The work from that position has been given to 2 other employees to do, and per the contract, those employees are entitled to additional pay since the duties they are being required to do are not within their job description. From what I understand, from talking to others, Superintendent Kraus and other management staff have agreed that these employees are performing these additional duties, but they are not following the contract and paying them as required. To resolve issues like this, we have the grievance process, and one of the steps of the process are that is that a hearing is conducted in front of you, the board, to make a decision on whether the contract was violated or not. The CSEA members have been performing these additional duties for more than 8 months now without the compensation they are entitled. And however, they keep performing these additional duties even though they are not being compensated as required, because if they did not, the district would not be able to keep going. This, however, brings up the next problem. The additional pay for performing the additional duties is supposed to be for a temporary short-term problems and not to circumvent paying people appropriately for the work that they are being required to do. In order to resolve that problem, the district would need to reclassify these employees, which can be done by negotiating with CSEA, but as I said before, they won't even acknowledge these employees and the work that they are doing, or the grievance that has been filed by CSCA on this issue. I'm hoping by coming here tonight to speak with you, that you as the board will demand that this issue be placed on the March 5th agenda so that these employees can get the compensation they deserve, and hopefully the reclassification that is necessary to correct this issue from continuing. Just like to add that our next negotiations is not until March 8th. So I'm hopeful that we don't get the same salary proposal that the teachers got. Thank you, and I look forward to speaking with you again in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to speak.
Mr. Kraus, do we have any audience members?
Yes, Madam President, we do. And I'd first like to call up Ms. Kim Smith, who had an announcement she'd like to share with the group this evening. She did get prior approval to be able to make her announcement. And so with that, I'd like to call Ms. Kim Smith up to the podium.
Good evening. Board President Love French, board members, Superintendent Kraus, cabinet members, esteemed colleagues, and guests. My name is Kimberly Smith. I'm a fifth grade teacher at Victoria McGathon Elementary School. I wanted to first, I'm kind of doing a sidebar on my notes. I just wanted to thank Dr. Albert for not only his professionalism, but for his candor and grace today, when both were much needed. I know you're only 11 days in, so I hope that we can continue the relationship that we've already started to build with ADTA and keep it going, just as Mr. Hahn has said. My reason for speaking tonight is to invite those of you who knew Victoria McGathon to attend the celebration of life that we are planning to have for her at her school. The celebration will be on Thursday, March 21st, the first week of spring at 4 p.m. in the Victoria McGathon Elementary School multipurpose room. As we are still in the planning stages, we are still open to suggestions on how to make this event as wonderful as she made this district, and really just from hearing about her and knowing her, really how she made the whole high desert. So you can message me at Kimberly_Smith@aesd.net or speak with Zinnia, and she'll be able to know how to get in contact with me. And those of you that have my cell number, you can text me. You know where I'm at. As you know, March is Women's History Month, and this is why we decided to celebrate Victoria McGathon in March. She epitomizes what it is to be a true female role model and leader. It's also the first week of spring, which represents new growth and new beginnings. As I'm in my 27th year of teaching, it's my 22nd year with AESD, and I am just as enthusiastic about teaching my students as I was 27 years ago. Maybe a little bit slower, but I'm still hanging in there. I've been teaching at Victoria McGathon Elementary School since the doors opened in 2005, and I am like the sole survivor there. I'm the last one that since the doors open, I'm still there. And I hope that I have made Victoria McGathon proud. I like to say, if you refuse to accept anything but the best, you very often get it. And I would like to believe that that quote would resonate with Victoria McGathan, and she would cheer all of us on to only accept the best and truly know our worth. So once again, please accept this invitation to celebrate a life dedicated to the service of a community while only accepting the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Madam President, and I apologize if I don't pronounce the last name correctly, Gina Teague. Teague, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, board members, staff, families, and community members of the Adelanto School District. My name is Gina Teig, and I am a proud teacher at Morgan Kincaid, currently teaching first grade, and I am a team member of the Student Success Team. I have and continue to actually live down the hill, and I choose to drive up here to teach at Morgan Kincaid. Many of my friends and families down the hill who are teachers or administrators and or work at other school districts down the hill have asked, why do you come up to work for our district? And I'm here tonight to share the reasons why I actually choose to continue to work at Morgan Kincaid. One, our administrative team, Kristen Cooper and Machiko Norwood, I really appreciate so many things about them, but because of time, I will just share how grateful I am for their open door policy. Though they have an entire school to run, I always feel heard and respected whenever I feel the need to discuss any of my concerns. Two, our certificated staff, such as Sarah Sherman and Cynthia Ferris. We have many wonderful proctors, aides, etc., and many of them know our students personally because they've taken the time to get to know our students throughout the years they've been there. Our SST team. I'm grateful for Christy Hillquist, who is a team member, Miss Tracy Whitford, who is our RSP teacher, and Miss Wendy Harris, who is our school psychologist. These women work so hard, and we need to give them so much more support. We need more people like them. I'm so grateful for their partnership in the SST team with our administrators in making sure that our students receive the supports needed to be successful. I'm grateful for many of my past families and students. I love walking to my classroom every morning as students come up to me with hugs and with good morning, Miss Teig, words of encouragement. I love our certificated staff. Many of them at Morgan Kincaid, whenever there's a need arise, use their strength and knowledge to provide opportunities for our students. For example, Kristen Hudson and Lourdes Carrasco, who host the esports program for our after school for our students. Our staff has celebrated so many milestones together. We have rejoiced together, we've mourned together through weddings, births, retirements, and sadly deaths at our site. I can look around Morgan Kincaid, and I'm grateful to call many of them my friends. And for those reasons, I stay at Morgan Kincaid. I chose to speak tonight because I would like you guys to see another face that represents a teacher in our district and hear a little bit of my story. I know I wanted to be a teacher in third grade. I have loved and still love being a teacher. However, my job has become more difficult throughout the years. There are many factors why it's become more difficult, too many to share tonight with my limited time. And I've tried to encourage future teachers and college students that I know down the hill to substitute teach up here. One came for a short time, but many left because of the opportunities down the hill are plenty. Many have chosen to go to other districts because of the salary scale and future job opportunities that they see freely in the websites, on the websites down there. In closing, like many of the teachers that I know in our district, I have worked very hard at my job, and I will continue to work very hard for my students. Please do your job in helping us come up with a fair contract. Thank you for your time.
Next to Madam President, we'd like to call Ms. Jennifer Rader up to the podium this evening. And Ms. Rader will be representing herself and not ADTA this evening.
Good evening. Thank you all. And thank you for letting Ms. Teig finish. I appreciate that very much. So I started my teaching career in 1991 in Riverside, but I've been teaching at Adelanto since 1995. I wanted to share with you all some reasons why I've stayed here all those years. The Adelanto School District has been very good to me. When my family was just getting started, I was able to job share with another teacher in order to stay home part-time with my young children. Our superintendent at the time, Steve Vaughn, some of these names only Miss Turner will recognize, was very supportive of this idea, and he made it possible for me. Those children, incidentally, are now in their late 20s, and I have a toddler grandson now. So AESD has truly provided the backdrop from my whole life. Several years later, after experiencing burnout, I took a year off to work for a private educational company providing RSP services to homeschoolers. Our contract allowed for me to take this year as opportunity leave because I was working with special ed students and learning all about IEPs and special ed legislation. When I returned to the district, richer for the information I'd learned, I took over the independent studies program from Joyce Hervey. Joyce Hervey, of course. And I spent 8 years there making an impact on students and families in unique circumstances that brought them to independent studies rather than a regular classroom program long before COVID. I really felt as though I'd found my niche. Then a series of events brought me to Morgan Kincaid. I truly believe all things happen for a reason, and I've loved working back in a third grade classroom, again, under the leadership of Kristen Cooper. My third grade team has changed a bit from year to year as teachers have retired or moved to other grade levels, but all of us really enjoy a family feeling at MKP. We stood by one another through it all, from marriages and births to deaths and numerous crisis situations in between. I truly appreciate my colleagues here and the families that have been a part of MKP from kindergarten through fifth grade. Over the past 10 years, the students that I have taught come back year after year to see me and let me know how they were doing. I have one student who, when he was a third grader, he was 8 years old, and he complained that his baby sister was a pest. Well, that baby sister has come up through our classes too. And he's a senior in high school, and he comes to see me when he picks her up from school, and he's got a full beard. It's really hard to see that. And he's tall, and he's a brilliant, brilliant mathematician, and he was my student. So I love this. The people I work with daily, I have grown to love. This is why I stay in Adelanto. The people are what make this district the place that I want to work for my whole career. Please treat us fairly and allow us to continue to work for a district that feels like family. More importantly, help ensure that new teachers are able to join this educational family and not go to other districts for financial reasons. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then finally, Madam President, we have Mr. Robert Zubia we'd like to welcome to the podium. Mike,
Okay, I'm going to try to go through this quickly. Probably going to need every second, but I'd like to start off by saying good evening, board members. I would like to start by reading this heartfelt report that a student of mine recently wrote. It is titled My Future Plan. When I grow up, I want to be a teacher. I like my teacher because he's kind and he helps me read. And I like reading because I learn new things as I practice. Lastly, I want to be a teacher so I can inspire my students the way my teacher does with me. This student has come a long way since the beginning of the year, and her reading, writing, and math and confidence levels are indeed increasing. And they are because I care about my students and I appreciate my job. But currently, I am not satisfied with how the board is being stoic and not truly reasonable by not offering a fair COLA increase to its teachers. We are the most valuable asset this district has, yet we are being underpaid and taken for granted. Indeed, an increase in COLA is definitely needed at this time. Sometimes we deal with unexpected expenditures in life that blindside us. For example, last month I had to pay an additional $400 to maintain my vehicle. I also had to pay an extra $750 for property taxes on top of my mortgage. Also, the utilities are very expensive for those of us living up here. Water is very costly because we are located in the desert. And I find myself frequently using gas and electricity to keep my house reasonably warm in order to function in these extreme temperatures. In order to be a good citizen and make book on all these necessary expenditures, I have to dip into my savings over the last 3 months. This is becoming a trend that I am not content with. Nevertheless, I'm going to make this relocation work one way or another, whether that means looking into employment with another district or searching for additional sources of income. But the conundrum is that if I elect another source of income or part-time job, that is going to take away from my time and effort as a teacher. I do not believe that is a very good idea with the students I serve. Right now, they are very satisfied with the way their education is going and with the overall vibe of our classroom. They feel this way because I go beyond my job description. I do various extra activities with them that bring them fulfillment, such as Student of the Week, which students receive an award and recognition and a small bag of prizes, snacks with the teacher,
30 seconds.
outside PE games in which I had to purchase my own orange cones, and a reward system for being a student helper of the day. But what if I stopped doing these extra activities in order to focus more on myself and began doing just the minimum requirements of this position? If I elected to do that, I believe it would result in lower student morale, an increase in absenteeism, and lower achievement scores, because class simply would not be as fun as it is right now. I have more to say, but because I'm running out of time, I'll just leave it at that. Thank you very much.
That completes public comments for closed session, Madam President.
Thank you. Moving on to section 7, recess to closed session. Trustees, I need a motion to recess to closed session.
So do I motion that we go to closed session?
Trustee Turner, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. The time is 7:38.
Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome back, everyone. Reconvening to open session. Call to order. The time is 9:07. Mrs. LeVey, will you please take the roll?
Trustee Benz,
Present?
trustee Turner,
Turner, present.
trustee Soto,
Soto present.
trustee Webster,
Webster, present.
trustee La French.
Love French, present. Section 9, closed sessions report. We have nothing to report out. Section 10, public testimony. Mr. Kraus, do we have anyone from ADTA that would like to speak?
Mr. Sinatra, do you see anyone raising their hand for ADTA in online?
Not at this time, no.
Thank you. Not at this time, Madam President, for ADTA.
Thank you. Anyone for CSEA?
Mr. Sinatra, is anyone raising their hand online for CSEA?
Not at this time, no.
Not at this time for CSEA, Madam President.
Thank you. Do we have an audience member?
Madam President, we did have a Lydia Laura that had put in online. Mr. Sinatra, do you see a Lydia Laura or somebody similar with that name online?
I do not see them online at this time, no.
Madam President, that was the only open session comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. Voting.
Do we need a motion to extend the meeting?
Yes, I'm sure we do.
9:09.
Can we get a motion to extend the meeting to 10:30?
Madam President, I move that we extend the meeting till 10:30.
Trustee Turner, I second.
Ms. LeVey, will you please take the vote?
So do I.
Trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to section 11, public hearing. 11.01, business services. Conduct public hearing regarding the proposed formation of the Community Facilities District CFD number 5 and the improvement area thereof and the intentions to incur bond indebtedness within Community Facilities District number 5 and the improvement area thereof. We're opened at 9:10 for discussion. We're closing at now 9:10, 9:11, I'm sorry. Section 12, adoption of the minutes. 12.01, trustees, I need a motion to approve as written and order field regular board meeting minutes of February the 13th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
Turner, I motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of February 13th, 2024.
So do I second that motion.
Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. Section 13, consent agenda. We're taking items 13.02 through 13.16 with the exception of 13.04. Didn't we pull one?
That was 4 points.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, we're taking items 13.02 through 13.16. Does any trustee want to pull an item?
Yes, trustee Turner, I would like to pull 1308.
I'd like to pull 13.13. Can I get a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda with the exception of 13.08 and 13.13?
Trustee Turner, I motion to approve the remaining consent agenda.
So do I second that motion.
Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz, trustee La French.
Love French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. Can I get a motion to approve 13.08?
Trustee Turner, I motion to approve 13.08.
So do I second.
We're open for discussion.
I pulled this item because there are some items, and these are the school safety plans, safety and disaster plans, and it is mandated that we approve this by March 1st, so I am approving it. I spoke with Mr. Kraus about this yesterday, and he will make the corrections and bring the corrections back at a later date, but I will a motion to approve it tonight so we could be in compliance.
Any further discussion?
So are the corrections concerning, or is it just some details about?
Well, for instance, I surveyed 3 of the schools, and there's a yes and no. If you looked at the safety plans, it's a yes and no answer. And where there was a no, that we were not in compliance, there was no corrective measure to correct that. So I want, each school to look at that, the ones that answered no, and it's an area where you put your corrections and what you're going to do. So I would like to see that. I just don't want it to be something that we approve and it gets set on the shelf. It's important that we do that.
Okay, thank
Mhm.
you.
Hearing no more discussion, Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
So just for clarification, I do have trustee Turner and second by trustee Soto to approve these with the caveat that the school that answer no have to have an explanation on them.
Yes, Mr. Kraus, you want to talk about that?
Yes, thank you, trustee Turner and members of the board. So trustee Turner and I did have a very good conversation. And so we are going to work with Ms. Gonzalez and her team in risk management to ensure that the information is more thorough. And we intend to bring this item back on March 19th board meeting. Again, but because as trustee Turner stated, we have a deadline so that we meet the audit requirements of March 1st. It had to be presented to the board this evening because we don't have another board meeting until March 5th.
Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll take the vote. Trustee Soto,
Soto, aye.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Left French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. Trustees, I need a motion to approve 13.13.
Trustee Turner, motion to approve 1313. Acceptance of classified employees' resignation.
Benz, I second.
We're open for discussion. I pulled this item because I wanted Mr. Cross to give a little feedback on this resignation that I thought was important.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam President. We wanted to recognize an employee. She worked at Victoria McGathan for many years. So she was the school office clerk there from August 1st, 2006, or she's been with the district since August 1st, 2006 until February 16th, 2024. When she decided to change careers, she's been very faithful to our district. Solange has served as the Victoria McGathan Elementary's clerk for most of her 17 years with the Adelanto Elementary School District. She will continue to serve the public in her new role as a CHP dispatcher. We would like to recognize her for her dedication and consistent support of our school as both a community member and a parent. Thank you to all of the work that she has done, and we wish her the best on her new career at CHP.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. New business.
Madam President, I'll go ahead and I'll take the vote.
Thank you.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, aye.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Left French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to section 15, new business, 15.01, 2024 California School Board Association Delegate Assembly Election. Trustees, I need a motion to approve for up to 7 candidates in the election for a CSBA Delegate Assembly Representative for the sub-region 16-B.
Trustee Webster, I motion for Tom Courtney for CSBA Delegate Assembly Rep.
Can I get a second?
Trustee Turner, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, no.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Left French, aye.
Trustee Turner, motion for Barbara Dew, Victor Valley Union High School District.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Yes.
trustee Webster,
No.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
La French, aye. Any other nominees?
Madam President, I'd like to nominate Amanda Buchanan.
Trustee Turner, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Yes.
trustee Webster,
Aye.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Aye.
trustee La French.
La French, aye. Anyone else have any more nominees? No more. Thank you, trustees. We're moving on to section 15.02. Second. Okay, I need a motion to approve the selection of the name of the Aquatic Center. We're gonna open it up for discussion. Yes.
Webster, I motion to approve the selection of the name for the Aquatic Center with discussion.
Trustee Turner, I second.
Mr. Kraus, can you give us a background on the names and the advisory committee?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of the board this evening. So as we're so happy to report, we have been renovating the district pool, the community pool, for some time now. And so we're excited to say that we're to the point where we have to start planning to give the center, the Aquatic Center, a name. And so per board policy, citizen advisory committee was formed to come up with suggestions. This evening before the board may take that suggestions, or the board may pro-offer their own. A board member, individual board member can submit a name with a first and a second, and then it would take 3 out of 5 board members, a majority of the board, to approve the naming of the Aquatic Center. And so this evening, you have a name that the committee, the advisory committee came up with. The Eckes Hunter was a name that they had talked about, and the consensus of the committee, the advisory committee, wanted to make a suggestion on. But again, at the end of the day, this evening before the board, it's up to the individual board members to, again, they can agree with that, and a majority of the board would have to approve it. And so with that, I'd like to open it up to you, Madam President, to start the process of determining that process for the names.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have a name that they want to nominate?
There is a name that I wanted to bring up. I was brought this idea from some fellow AESD family members out there, and I want to put it on the list because I really think it's important. It was brought to my attention, the Steenerson Eckes Aquatic Center. Jeff Steenerson was a teacher within our district for, I believe, almost 30 years. And was ironically my 5th grade teacher momentarily. But work that he dedicated to the district, I really want to at least bring his name onto this list as well.
Okay, does anyone else have another name?
I would like to recommend Evelyn and Charlie Glasper. Charlie Glasper was the mayor of Adelanto for a number of years. He also served as city council, and he also ran our ACRC program here in the district. And Evelyn served the community as well. And since Mr. Glasper's passing, Evelyn has been instrumental working with Melba Davis and keeping that program afloat. Evelyn has given her time and energy in this community for a number of years. She also served on this board. She also served on the Victor Valley High School board, as well as, supported her husband as mayor and city council. And I think it would be a great honor to name the Aquatic Center after the Glaspers. They've done so much for this community, and I would like to see that.
Anyone else?
Yes. I have a name. It's kind of out there, but hear me out. So when I moved here, everybody talks about Adelanto, all the issues out here and And I don't see that. I see the resilience of the people. I don't know a lot of people personally, but I think somebody who embodies resilience, diligence, determination is a man named Robert Smalls. And I learned about Robert Smalls in a show called Drunk History. If you ever read that, now he's not local, but I think that he's a very influential person. He was born a slave, and his father was the plantation owner, and he sold him off to work somewhere else. He worked on a boat, he and some other slaves during the Confederate for the Confederate Army during the Civil War. One night, the white captain and the white crew members, they went to go spend time with their families. Well, the slaves that were left, they got their families and they stole the boat. Mr. Smalls knew the secret hand signals that were needed to get through the river to sail to safety. When they got to the north, they fought for the north, and he fought on the ship that he stole. And then he became a businessman, and he bought the plantation he was born on. And he became one of the first Black congressional lawmakers on the House of Representatives. And I think his story is so amazing because it shows that no matter where you come from, you can do amazing and great things. And that is why I want to put his name in this bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, who's gonna pass that up? Thank you. Soto?
Thank you. Yes, Madam President. I did, it's a lot of great names. I did want to stick with what we were recommended by the committee. I'd like to put in the Eckes Hunter Glasper Center, or the HEG Center for abbreviation. That way we can honor all of the community members that have contributed to our district and to our city. Thank you.
And that was can you say that for me again?
Yes, ma'am. It's the last names, Hunter, Eckes, and Glasper. Or I like to have it abbreviated as the HEG Center for short. It's just the abbreviation HEG.
Okay, you got me with that one. Okay. So we're gonna go down the list. Starting off with,
So Madam President, at this time, we do need a substitute motion. We had the discussion, and that substitute motion will be for a trustee to first and second who they want, and then we can go from there and have the trustees vote.
we all get that? Vince,
What, start on mine?
you got it.
Okay. I motion that we name the new aquatic center, the Robert Smalls Aquatic Center of Adelanto.
Trustee Turner, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Trustee Soto,
Soto, no.
trustee Webster,
Webster, no.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Left French, no.
Fail.
The motion failed.
Madam President, I'd like to motion that we name the aquatic center the HEG Center, also known as the Hunter Eckes Glasper Center. That way we honor all of the three community members that have contributed greatly to our school and to our city.
Trustee Turner, I second.
I'll take the vote. Trustee Soto,
Soto, yes.
trustee Webster,
Webster, no.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, no.
trustee La French.
Left French, aye.
Motion 3-2. So the motion does pass. It's 3-2.
I have a question. Will their names be printed out or will it be, your motion is the HEG Center or will it be the Eckes, Hunter, and Glasper Center, Aquatic Center?
That's something we can discuss. I just like the abbreviation because it's a bit long. The reason why it could be a nickname.
So trustees, we
But,
do need to have this name tonight so that we can present it and we can get started with the process.
Okay.
So to clarify, we're naming this the Hunter Eckes Glasper Aquatic Center.
We can discuss that.
Well, we gotta decide.
We
it
have to
now.
discuss it now.
Okay, so let's discuss.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I think it's a bit lengthy.
but that's what's gonna be printed on the building.
Well,
at
that's
this
why,
point.
well, that's why I'm saying we could also abbreviate. That could be a second option if we think it's lengthy, which I think it is. But I'm leaving it open. If we want it to be long like that and we want to remember them by their names, then we can do that. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm just a little concerned that our general public's not really gonna understand if we abbreviate it, the HEG Center. And then we won't be able to, give them any credit due because we would be abbreviating the HEG Center. Our other option would be to write it out full, which would be the Hunter Eckes Glasper Aquatic Center, which is quite a mouthful. So I'm just concerned, like, do we do them due justice by naming it just the HEG Center?
Is this a separate vote, Z?
No, this is,
Heck.
so we already know that this is what the board has decided. Now the board has to give direction to the superintendent on what to call it so that we can go ahead and process, do our
And if
side.
we can't come to a decision, whether we call it the heck or.
It's already passed motion.
Well, if you look at George Visual and Performing Arts, that's a long name. So Hunter Eckes and Glasper Aquatic Center, that's no longer than George Visual and Performing Arts Center.
I agree. And just to add,
They're
people
gonna
will,
call it the 12.
right, they're gonna call it the Heg Center. They're not gonna call it the whole name. I'm not going to, at least, it's mouthy. So that's why I made it in that sequence. That's why it's called the Heg Center. If it's their choice, people can call it the Heg Center or they can spell it out, but
Or the, yeah.
or the right. I don't want them to guess.
Hey, I would like to put their names there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So
And then under it, and then somewhere we could say the Hague. If you want to do that. But I think we would do them, recognize them by their names being printed on that school, on that center, the Hague Center.
So for clarification, the trustees are giving direction to the superintendent to call it the Hunter Eckes Glasper Aquatic Center, and we can put in parentheses HEG. Yes? Okay.
No. Yes. I'm getting audience participation. Some of them sat on the committee back there.
I put my glasses on so I can see you.
I can see them. I can't see any of this.
I'm just the opposite. Okay. Crystal clear, Z, we're good?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let's move right along to 15.03. Wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. Okay, trustees, I need a motion to approve and adopt a resolution number 23.24.22, determining the validity of prior proceedings, establishing community facilities district number 5 of the Adelanto Elementary School District and the improvement area thereof, authorizing the levy of special taxes with the improvement areas of community facilities, District 5, establishing the appropriation limit, making certain findings, calling elections, and taking related actions.
Webster, I motion to approve.
Benz, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please call for the vote.
Any discussion?
Oh, any discussion? Hearing none, please take the vote.
I'll take the vote. Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. 15.04. Trustees, I need a motion to approve and adopt resolution number 23.24.23 to incur bonded indebtedness in an amount not to exceed 46 million within community facilities, District number 5 of the Adelanto Elementary School District, and the improvement areas thereof, calling elections and taking related actions. Can I get a motion?
Webster, I motion to approve.
Benz, I second.
Ms. LeVey, please take the vote.
Any discussion?
Any discussion?
I'll take the vote. Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to section 15.05. Trustees, I need a motion to approve and adopt of resolution number 23.24.24, canvassing the the results of the election held within Community Facilities, District Number 5.
Webster, I motion to approve.
Benz, I second.
We're open for discussion.
Mr. Kraus, could you talk about this item?
Yes, thank you. We also have Jesse Landry on there. And before I ask him to come up, I need to read the results of the election. So this item is actually reading the results of the ballots that were cast for CFD number 5. And so this evening we have different areas. So the first one is for improvement area D of CFD number 5. Total ballots cast 1, total votes cast yes 42, no 0. For improvement area C of the Community Facilities District number 5, total ballots cast 1, total votes yes 40, no 0. Improvement area B of Community Facilities District number 5, total ballots cast 1, total votes cast yes 27, no 0. And then finally on improvement area A of Community Facilities District number 5, total ballots cast 1, total votes cast yes 18, no on 0. Thank you, Trustee Turner, for the opportunity to talk about this, and I'll have Mr. Landry as well. Just he's been anxiously waiting to talk a little bit about this, but the board had approved the formation of an additional CFD. We had CFD 1, 2, 3, and 4 with various improvement areas within them, and these actions the board are taking tonight form the basis for CFD number 5. And Mr. Sinatra, would you mind asking Mr. Landry to? I know he had some legal things that also he needed to state related to the canvassing of the ballots. Oh, there he is. Great.
Asking them to unmute now.
Thank you.
Thank
Welcome,
you,
Mr.
Superintendent Kraus, and good evening, members of the board and district staff and members of the public. If folks recall, this is a continuation of the process we started at the board meeting back in January. This is a process to replace CFD number 1, improvement areas B and C, with this new CFD number 5. I appreciate the patience. I know these are lengthy legal materials that we have to go through over and over again, but really this process was to conduct that election, as Mr. Kraus mentioned. Wanted to mention one piece is through this election process, the property owner has waived certain timing requirements that are as permitted by law in order to allow us to hold the special election here today. So with the next action of canvassing the results in the first reading of the special tax ordinance will be complete with the items for CFD number 5 for this evening, with only one remaining item left, which will be the second reading of the special tax ordinance at the subsequent board meeting. Any questions from the board about the process or next steps?
We have none. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Obey, will you please take the vote?
Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, I. Motion passed 5-0. 15, Webster and then Benz. Welcome. 15.06, trustees, I need a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 23.24.25 of Community Facilities District number 5 of the Adelanto Elementary School District, authorizing the levy of special taxes within improvement areas of Community Facilities District number 5.
Webster, I motion to approve.
So do I. Second.
We're open for discussion. Hearing none, please take the vote, Z.
Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Love French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. 15.07. Trustees, I need a motion to approve the Office of Public School Construction Resolution number 23.24.26 for naming district representatives and authorizing participation in state allegations. Allocations, board, administrative programs through the Department of General Services. Can I get a motion?
Webster, I motion to approve.
Soto, second.
We're open for discussion.
Mr. Kraus, could you talk about this?
Yes, thank you, Trustee Turner. So one of the programs that the state administers is when a school district identifies projects such as building a new school, renovating a school, they can join what they call a queue for state bond money. If the state decides to fund a state bond, then the district, if they're already in line to get that money, they would fund a project. And every time that the state allocation board has administered some bond monies, districts, only a certain amount of districts get funded. And so depending on where you're at in the queue, but at the same time, they need an authorized person to be able to communicate with them about the programs and about the needs of the school district related to facilities. So all this item before the board this evening will do is allow the superintendent to be the person that signs documents for the Office of Public School Construction, and then work with them if there's any future bond needs for our district that the state might be able to fund.
Okay, so this resolution is naming the representative, so that would be you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you.
No further discussion. Ms. LeVey, will you please take the vote?
Trustee Soto,
Soto,
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, aye.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Left French, aye. Motion passed 5-0. Section 16.01, governing board members' reports and announcements. Would anyone?
Madam President, I'd just like to push my announcements and comments to the next meeting.
Trustee Webster.
I'm going to go ahead and withhold my comments tonight and go ahead and push them over to the next meeting as well. I do want to say thank you to our schools that were with us tonight and Mr. Landry for staying with us as late as you have.
Benz.
Well, I will share because the past few ones I have not shared anything, but a couple of weeks ago, I got to visit some schools. I got to go to Mesa Linda, and I actually got the keys. And I got to go and explore because there was no admin on campus at the time. And the classes, first thing, the students I walked to were I talked to were very helpful. And the teachers who I got to speak to were very welcoming, very kind. They took the time to share what their students were doing and were proud. And I truly appreciate that. And I also appreciate the front office because they too were so welcoming. And then I got to go to Eagle Ranch. And the vice principal, Mrs. I don't know how to say her last name. Spivey, yes, thank you. Was so nice. She took me around again and again. Everyone was so nice and welcoming. And that morning, I got to go to the Black History Month assembly at Victoria McGathan. And I feel so kind of self-conscious because, Mr. Verduzco had a chair put out all in the front, in the center of the NPR. And I want to thank Evelyn for sitting there next to me so I didn't feel so self-conscious. It's like, oh, thank God you're here. So, but the performances were wonderful. I always enjoy watching the kids, but the best part of the whole thing is when the kids see their parents and just wave and smile and light up, and their faces all smiles. And I just think it's great when the parents can take the time to go and see their kids perform. So thank thank you for that.
Trustee Turner?
Okay, I'll keep mine short, but I do want to report out. First of all, I want to just thank our children. Every time that they come into this boardroom and they perform, it just warms my heart. And, for the TK class, all of them were just extreme. They were all special. But the TK and the harmony that the kids sung, those children can sing, and they held a note. And it just warmed my heart to see them perform and, see our boardroom decorated with art from our different school sites was just special for me. I also happy that we are doing a celebration of life. Well, Victoria McGathan is doing a celebration of life for Victoria McGathan. Miss McGathan, she served our district for a number of years. I want to say 30 or more. And she gave a lot. And to have the school named in her honor was just, awesome. I wasn't a part of that. I got on the board right as the school was dedicated, but she lived for a long time and she was an integral part in our community. And I'm just happy that I'm here as a part of that. I will be at that celebration on March 21st. And so I'm happy that, and even after passing, she still contributed. I think she contributed her insurance, $50,000 to Victoria McGathan. So thank you to the McGathan family for that. You didn't have to do it, but you did, and we appreciate it. I also attended Morgan Kincaid's Black History Month celebration. They had it in 2 different parts, so I attended that along with Dr. Albert. We sat together, and it was just phenomenal. Our kids are talented and smart. We had first graders reading, and it was incredible, and you give it to them, they'll learn. No matter what, if you raise the bar for kids, they will meet that bar. And I'm just so happy to be a part of this district. I also attended the budget stabilization meeting yesterday. I was online because I was out of town. And just to hear the participation, the feedback from the surveys, some of it was repetitive, but, it was good to hear from the community of what they would like to see. This is going to take all of us to work together, to get our budget, get a positive budget again. And I know we could do it. And we all have to, if we all look at what's good for everyone, then we can get this done. And so we will continue to work with you and get your input because that's important for the board to make the final decision as to what we're going to do. But I just want you to know that your voices are heard. And let's see. I'm getting old and I tend to forget and I didn't write anything down. I can't read it anyway. I don't have my glasses. But anyway, with that being said, that's all I have for tonight. And everyone drive safe. One other thing. Looking to my right. You guys look incredible down there. And thank you for what you've done, Dr. Albert, you've been here, what, 11 days? 11 days? And Ms. Gonzalez, how many for you?
Let's see, today is the 22nd, 7th. So a total of 27 days, not necessarily on the job, but yeah.
Thank you. You hit the ground running, and that's what we needed. So thank you a lot for joining us here. And of course, Dr. Weisman, couldn't do it without you. And Mr. Krause. And my fellow trustees and all of the assistants back there, we could not do this without you and our IT people and our security at the door. That's all I have.
Thank you very much for those kind words. Moving right along to section 17, adjournment. Trustees, I need a motion to adjourn.
Webster, I motion to adjourn.
Love French, I second.
I have a voice.
Okay.
Did you want a discussion? Well, I'll take the vote. Trustee Soto,
So do I.
trustee Webster,
Webster, I.
trustee Turner,
Turner, I.
trustee Benz,
Benz, I.
trustee La French.
Left Branch, I motion pass 5-0. Please have safe travels and thank you for joining us.
Madam President, the time is 9:55 PM.
Thank you.